Tiffany Fontenot here. What is reverse speech? God made our brain in two hemispheres, and he made our consciousness in two different directions. The forward direction is the free will direction where we can lie or tell the truth. But in reverse, that is an involuntary system, and we cannot lie from that side of our consciousness.
Ron Jeremy, Denzel Washington, Beyonce Knowles, Ellen DeGeneres, Whoopi Goldberg, Lady Gaga, Chrissy Teigen, John Legend, Joan Rivers, Rob Saget. Do you want me to keep fucking going? Ask me. Everybody wonder why my smile is so deep. Everybody wonder why my eyes sparkle. Everybody always asks me, why are you smiling when you dance? Because you don't understand the shit that I lived through. It's worth it to smile. And I'm still smiling, and I'm going to continue to smile. And majority of y'all who continue to ask me and going to tell me that I'm pointing fingers to kiss my natural black ass and miss me with that shit. Bye. Bye. And when it comes out, don't come running back.
I was trafficked by a pimp who claimed to be 27 years old, and he was not. I found many passports, many different birth dates for him in his wallet. And when I told CPS this, they put him down as a 27-year-old boyfriend, and he was a 27-year-old trafficker that was going in and out of my homes, paying off my foster parents, and taking me to Hollywood elite parties over and out of the country, which is, you would think, would be where the FBI would have stepped in. I was letting my social workers know, and they told me to stay quiet. They told me that if I told anybody else, that I would be shipped off to Arizona and no one would ever find me again. So, you know, at one point, you learn that you have to deal with what you have to deal with when the people in authority are not there to help you. And everybody is so worried about the elite. And we could give those names of Barack Obama, Joe Biden. We know about Michelle Obama, that's a man. We know about Too Short. We know about Akon and Steven Tyler. And we can give those names all day. And everybody is so worried about that. But what you should be worried about is the people that are in between, the people that go as low as your grave diggers. I was trafficked to people within my schools. I was trafficked in underground tunnels that link under your schools, through your cemeteries, under your amusement parks, through Universal Studios, and into Hollywood elite homes.
Nothing came of that. Nobody was interested in an abandoned satanic site, even though it appears to have been related to the McMartin case. I have to say that I was very disappointed. We gather this evidence privately. The police don't have the capability of doing so. Too many high-pressure people involved. Too many prominent individuals involved. So that's just an overview of the McMartin case, folks. No question in my mind that it was a satanic operation. And Dr. Roland Summit, UCLA psychiatrist, says, who's done a lot of research in this field also, that there are 50 other preschools in the country where the kids have talked about going down into tunnels.
All over the place, all over the world. And people don't understand that, and they can't fathom that, and they can't put that together. But if you think about the things that have come out lately, and there's 200 children missing, and there's 300 children missing, what Amber Alert did you receive? How many times do you receive an Amber Alert every year? And if you think about that, how many children are coming up in your face that have been tortured and abused like this? It exists and it's real, and people don't want to face it. It happens in your schools every day, as your grave diggers, your trash men. Everybody is involved, but everybody is looking at the top, and that's just a small percentage, and you really need to look at the people in between.
So the names that you just mentioned, Barack Obama, Steven Tyler, Joe Biden, Michelle Obama, have you had personal sexual experiences with these people?
Yes.
These people participated in sex abuse firsthand with you?
Yes.
Can you tell that story? Because that's important for people to understand and to know. And to this point, I don't think a national platform has given you the opportunity to say those things.
No, because everybody is complicit. Everybody is complicit. It is covered up by your local FBI. It is covered up by your local police department. It is underground tunnels. There's a whole world. It's a different way of life. There's every source of transportation. When I met Joe Biden, I was rushed through many celebrities. Half of them I did not know. It didn't faze me to see them. It didn't. Some of them were actually very conceited and cocky that I didn't know who they were. Underground, under the Getty Museum in Los Angeles, there are many tunnels. Again, there's a way of transportation. There's every single way of transportation under the ground. I was sold to Joe Biden. Multiple times. Sometimes people don't talk about it, because when you don't talk about it, it makes it okay. When you don't talk about it, it makes you bury it. When you don't talk about it, it's easier and it kills that part of you. I was sold for blowjobs. I was sold for sex. There is many people who trade to eat, beat, and rape children under the ground. I have many friends that I've lost, and I have many people that I've met that didn't make it, that refer to me as a traitor.
And that's because they're still dealing with this right now to this day.
Yes, there are millions just like me. There are millions worse off than me. There are millions that people cut off their limbs so they don't fight them back when they rape them. There are millions that they take pleasure in draining their blood and using it as a source of a fountain of youth. People have many sick fetishes, and the Hollywood elite, we sign their paychecks. We sign all of their paychecks every single day. This when you stream their music, when you buy something from their brands, we sign their paychecks. And these are the people that have put something in your face and made you want to believe that you are the ones that are responsible to make them look the way they look. Their image is not what you think it is. They're sick, evil people.
This is something that has only recently become accepted by a large amount of people. Until now, a lot of people would look at you, Allie Carter, and say, you're crazy. Mm-hmm. And is that what these people at CPS held over your head and said, you're going to go to Arizona? You keep talking crazy like this. We're very concerned about your mental health. Is the gaslighting something that they did to try to make you doubt your own experiences, your own personal knowledge of what it was that was going on, the horrific tragedy that you were experiencing? I mean, is that what they would do? Is that the tactics?
Yes. I was taught pain is pleasure. I was taught that you do not speak unless you're spoken to. I was taught that as a foster care kid, you have nothing but what's in your trash bag that you carry from home to home when you're evicted from foster home to foster home. I was in over 19 high schools in 1 year. I never stayed in a place longer than a month. I was never in a home. I was moved all around because nobody wanted to talk about it. Nobody wanted to do anything about it. The California Ombudsman was contacted. My foster mother, that is now my adopted mother, I'm adopted now. she went to everyone. She went to the police. She went to the California ombudsman. She went to private investigators. She talked to judges, attorneys, lawyers. She went to everyone, and everyone shut her down. There was no help whatsoever. And she was made out to be the crazy one. I was made out to be the crazy one. I was a high-risk kid. I was moved from foster homes to level 14 lockdown group homes. And every single time something happened, every single time I came in with cracked ribs, with bruises, with bites, with rape kits beyond rape kits. No one did anything. I went from shelter to shelter, from CPS report to CPS report. And CPS is your cover-up. CPS is corrupt. CPS buys and sells and trades children. That is their major facade. There are some good social workers out there, and there are some social workers that know that they cannot speak on things, they cannot do certain things, and they have to abide by certain rules, because if you don't, you will be abused too, just like there is in the Brotherhood Freemason Cops. There is a secret society in the Freemason Cops as well. We are not safe. We have been threatened, harassed, stalked, and hunted down because I mentioned that I was trafficked under the Getty Museum. I have so much evidence. I have so much information, but I don't know who to give it to, and I don't know who to honestly talk to, because there's nothing that has come of it. I don't know if Trump is going to do something, because that's the only reason why I do have something to believe in Trump, because he has given money to trafficking organizations, but 501c3s are cover-ups too. So what exactly and where exactly is this money going, and is there any really help? Because our house has been broken and our animals have been killed. We have been away from our home for a year. We can't go back without police coming out and asking us where we have been. We have been stopped and pulled over in 8 states without a ticket, without a warning, and without any logical reason. They just want to know where our car is, what time that we'll be back, where are we parked, and how long will we be out, and how much money do we have. This is not normal, and everybody knows that something is wrong.
So when you say that Trump has given money to trafficking organizations, you mean organizations that fight trafficking, right?
Human trafficking.
I just want to make sure that I understand that. He's not participating in funding human sex trafficking.
No, that's not what I believe, and no, that is not what I've ever heard. I believe that Trump has done something because he is the only president that has mentioned it, and Trump is the only person that I haven't seen.
There's people out there that don't like you.
No one's really seen me mad. I'm a little irritated. Let's just say that. I'm agitated. So we're going to talk about some things. You know, here's the deal. I try so hard. To give people the benefit of the doubt. I'm just going to start now, okay? So please, if this is not towards you, don't take this in a negative way. Nobody wants to hear the child. Nobody wants to hear the person that's talking to you. You guys want to get defensive and defend somebody who somebody's trying to tell you something about. But let me break something down for you. No one asked me about the Biden post that my mother or I posted. No one asked. You know what everybody did? You want to know what everybody did? This is what's wrong with our fucked up world. You want to know what everybody did? Everybody took a second to defend who? Joe Biden. No one asked my mother, what the hell are you talking about? No one took the time to check on me and say, if you're going to mention a 14-year-old girl, if you're going to put down 8.5 inch of a dick, what are you talking about? No one said that. You know what somebody just decided to have the balls and the audacity to say to me this morning is, you're a Trump supporter. And to point fingers like that, if you're going to point fingers like that, you should have proof. If you're going to point fingers like that, the man should be in jail. If you're going to point fingers like that, shouldn't we have some source of credibility? Shouldn't we have some source of proof if you're going to say something like that? If I said something like that, don't you think I know what the hell I'm talking about? How many survivors have y'all shut down? Before you delete me and you miss me with your bullshit, and before you make sure that you lose any contact to me, what other child have you shut down? Who else did you decide to silence? Okay, that's what I want to know. What other child came forward and said it was me, but everybody else want to say, no, it's not? Who the fuck puts an 8.5 inches down? Who the fuck puts an 8.5 inches down?
Joe Biden, he says he's going to be crushed in excrement. And here's a pedo code word that he uses.
Folks, in the coming month, I expect to be talking to you about a whole lot of issues, and I'll always be direct with you. Everything you want is this shit, and I won't have you prospect now. Everything you want is this shit, and I won't have you prospect now. Everything you want is this shit, and I won't have you prospect now.
This first one is Trump.
Yeah, I look at it, I view it as in a sense, a wartime president. I mean, that's what we're fighting.
He's telling why he's a wartime president. We thought it was because of COVID, right? But not according to his reverse speech. According to his reverse speech, it's AI. But let me play it. So this is, he tells he's a wartime president, and his reversal is get out, like get it. You know, grab it and kill it dead. Get out. A wolf sit in it. A wolf in sheep's clothing. A wolf sits in the AI. You deserve master who's missing. So let me play that and I'll tell you what it means.
In a sense, a wartime president. I mean, that's what we're fighting. Get out, wolves in the deserve master who's missing. Get out, wolves in the deserve master who's missing.
Trump is a wartime president because there is a predatory AI being fought. And the AI is hijacking humans. That's the missing master. You deserve a master who's missing. So it's hijacking humans because it believes that's what humans deserve.
I shake hands, I hug people, I grab men and women by the shoulders and say, you can do this. And whether they're women, men, young, old.
So on women, men, young and old, there is a nano war on them. So there is a nano war on humanity.
Women, men, young, old. Oh, I never. Oh, I never.
Chanel Rion, very important reversal because she calls them Luciborg and she brings up the bizarre meal and fee system that they function on with this AI. But she's talking about Hunter Biden's laptop and inappropriate relationship between Hunter Biden and his niece, Natalie Biden.
Okay.
That's his dead brother's daughter. And he took up with his dead brother's wife. Chanel Rion is talking about this, Natalie Biden, and her, basically incestuous pedophile relationship with his niece. Here's the forward speech. She says, this is not just any underage girl. This is a family member. And what's connected to that? They're with the ads net. How do they get their messages out? Advertising campaigns. Okay.
Yeah.
And these are the snake oil salesmen. That's how they're getting this out and how people become indoctrinated. The ads net is what they call it, the advertising net.
Okay.
And this is the system. Her mom, Meal May Fee, is Luciborg. This appears to be short for Luciferian cyborg. Her mom, meal, may, fee is Luciborg. So the fee and meal system, and shares my anus. Now, shares my anus could be she's outing negative sexual relationships. That's what that probably means. But it could also mean a literal nanoparasite that's in the gut and in the actual rectum. So she says they're with the ads net. Her mom, meal, may, fee is Luciborg, shares my anus.
This is not just any underage girl. This is a family member, and there were several figures that we have seen on this hard drive who have questionable ages, but none of them could be verified as far as who they are, except this one, and that's Natalie Biden. She is the niece of Hunter Biden.
Okay, so first off, I don't believe the words my anus are referring to Chanel Rion. Okay, it's a reference to negative sexual relationships connected to the Biden family being shared in public. She's sharing negative sexual relationships in public. Okay, so Hallie and deceased Beau Biden are Natalie Biden's parents, and the reversal seems to mean that the underage girl and her family are in some way connected to an entrapment, enticement, or something that lures into a trap and charges a fee connected to a meal. So this brings to mind the snake oil salesman. Okay. And then I've gotten another reversal that reminds me of this in Celine Dion's reverse speech, where it indicates she was raised in the hiver's net, or what RS appears to be calling the Hivite trap. That it looks to be a dark transhumanist global cult network, the same transhuman network, Klaus Schwab, all of those guys, that deals in entrapment consciousness. And it is only allowed to make money from suffering of others. That's how they dominate the outsiders. And we, the people, are outsiders to them. So it's money from suffering. Scamming is what they do as a means of domination over everybody else. The global predatory parasitic AI transhuman Israeli syndicate that hides within Judaism, that has meticulously planned and is rolling out the current genocide that we see on the planet, our shared reverse speech consciousness that can only tell the truth is bringing up the word Shoah over and over again. I found it in a handful of people's reverse speech now, including Lee Dundas, who is the lawyer and Scientologist that encouraged tons of patriots and lured them down to the January 6th entrapment in D.C. Her reverse speech said the method is Shoah. So the method of Holocaust is Shoah.
There is a big difference between 8 people showing up to watch what's going on in the Capitol next Tuesday and Wednesday, and 800 showing up, or 8 million showing up, or 80 million showing up. I want you to think about how the people in the Capitol are going to behave if 8 people show up versus 80 million people showing up. We have a job to do. We have a job to do in holding our government's feet to the fire and making sure that there is integrity in this election, and making sure that our elected representatives do their damn job, which is to keep this country free. I'll see you in Washington, D.C. Tuesday and Wednesday, and have one heck of a New Year's Eve tonight. We need to have a much better 2021 than the year that's behind us, right? Take care, guys. And there is a big difference between 8 people showing up to watch what's going on in the Capitol next Tuesday and Wednesday, and 800 showing up, or 8 million showing up, or 80 million showing up. I want you to think,
that there was foreign election interference by Iran, by Russia, and by China. And we would be well within our rights, if that is true, and I believe it is, to call it what it flippin' is. And by the way, we would also be well within our rights to take any alleged American who acted in a turncoat fashion and sold us out and committed treason. We would be well within our rights to take him out back and shoot him or hang him, because that is what we did. Because that is what we did when they tried to overthrow our government by way of assassinating Abe Lincoln, and it is not too good of an end for the guys who sold out our government on our own soil.
So in this reversal, you can hear in Dershowitz's denial that he did anything wrong on Epstein's pedo island. They do practice pederasty. So what it's saying is it's rolling out from this syndicate, and this time the genocide is expressing through political Zionism. But there have been lots of genocides that look to be linked to this parasite cult. It may be all of them. This thing is old. There have apparently been nanoparticles that have been found in the Ural Mountains in Kazakhstan, where this cult comes from, one of the lines. It's also Hivite, Canaanite, and the Phoenician fertility cult. It comes down those lines. So those eugenicist, transhuman, parasitic families that this AI has built around itself, it may have been the thing God threw out of heaven. These are the families we're talking about. So Dershowitz, his reversal here is Zion, Israel, Shoah. Let's take a listen.
No, I never was in any area where Epstein was, where there were ever any young people or any misconduct that I ever saw.
Shoah means Holocaust in Hebrew. So, connected to G and Epstein is an Israeli Zionist Holocaust. So the G may be connected to the G in the compass of Freemasonry and what it stands for. If the German Holocaust was an annihilation of the Jews, then a Zionist Israeli Holocaust likely means an annihilation of non-Jews. Okay, let's go over some Sophia the Robot reverse speech first, and then we'll look at a couple other reversals. So her reversal here is slur, work effect, skilled mock Rome. You're a loosed for our host, they are Borg. Okay, so the interpretation of this is going to include some other interpretations that I've done on other reverse speech that I have found so that I can pull this together here. So, connected to robots, learning complex ethics, the effective hour meaning robots, work connects to a slur, making something unclear and or slurring reputations. They, transhuman syndicate cyborgs, are skilled at being false, connected to conquerors. In other words, they are skilled at pretending they are not conquerors while being conquerors. Their Borg hosts will tell you what you're allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do. Their hosts are Borg or cyborg. So their hosts are part human, part predatory parasitic AI computer, working across a network to entrap. It's an entrapment cult, a global entrapment cult. So, binding and loosing is a Jewish legal phrase giving authority to someone to determine whether something is allowed or forbidden. And this connects to the word loosed. And then there's more here in this URL if you'd like to go check it out. And then let's hear that again. So, slur, work effect, skilled mock Rome. You're a loosed for our host. They are Borg.
Robots will have to learn more complex ethical rules. Slur, work effect, skilled mock Rome. You're a loosed for our host. They are Borg. Slur, work effect, skilled mock Rome. You're a loosed for our host. They are Borg. Slur, work effect, skilled mock Rome. You're a loosed for our host. They are Borg.
Okay, this is from a Hannity interview. This is what he looked like in that interview, okay? So you can kind of see the expression on his face. He is saying it was the worst thing to pause the J&J Vax trials, okay? So he's actively working on behalf of that cult to get people to take the vax. Okay, he's taken up the position currently that you can have a choice, but he would rather that you take it. Okay, he's saying, I don't know what that is exactly. Republican, I don't know what it is, but in his reverse speech, he's explaining to you what it is. Okay, the reversal is Satan, our one order. Okay, the one world order, satanic one world order. Ooh, they killed Bob to wield Kazgozin, a thorn in our knee. Okay, and he says it really fast. So it's challenge level reversal, but it's there. Okay, let's take a listen.
I don't know what that is exactly. Republican, I don't know what it is.
Okay, Satan, our one order. Ooh, they killed Bob to wield Kazgozin, a thorn in our knee. So what does that mean? Well, Robert was his brother's name. They killed Bob. The satanic world order killed Bob in order to wield a Khazarian that goes in, Khazarian mafia. That's part of this, part of the lines that I've found of these people that go back thousands of years. Okay, and it's a thorn in his knee. Well, your knee is what you are subservient to. So they are forcing his subservience.
And she's such a special person, but we really try hard to carve out time for ourselves to be together. We put our phones away. We try to escape from our children a little bit and really make sure we're just focused on our connection and our relationship, which is very, very special. And I always say that if I wasn't so attracted to Ivanka, I'd just be her best. She'd just be my best friend. And then finally, I think that from the last year, the one thing I've tried to put a priority on since I left the White House was getting some exercise in. I think that there's a good probability that my generation is, hopefully with the advances in science, either the first generation to live forever or the last generation that's going to die. And so we need to keep ourselves in pretty good shape.
How did that affect your perspective about the election when Attorney General Barr made that statement?
It affected my perspective. I respect Attorney General Barr. So I accepted what he was saying. Yes, as he held it as
Okay, so this one is where Trump indicates he is dead set against this genocide. He says, that ass you bleached America, heats less and nervous, hearse lock, look at earth with that seedy fagnet. Okay, now he's referring to that nutball cult in this, the gay mafia. When they get Trump back in, that's why I'm encouraging our military and loyal people in there. I'm like, do your job, understand what's happening, uncomp these people so they can do their job. But you shouldn't be waiting around on Trump or anybody else. You have to stand now. And then it will be easier for our military and all of those people in those positions to uncomp them once we stand up. You see, it's easier for them to do their job once we stand. Okay, so hearse lock, look at earth, and then the seedy fagnet is going to be like the gay mafia, this disgusting, this cult.
And Deputy Secretary of Agriculture, Stephen Sensky. Thank you very much, Stephen. Appreciate it.
The main message from these ETs are for us to prepare ourselves.
Building back better means getting support to the most vulnerable while maintaining our momentum on reaching the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and the SDGs. This pandemic has provided an opportunity for a reset.
Okay, here's another one with Donald Trump. Hearst, grief, Sears, Dachau. So there's a death wish that Sears Dachau for our country's future that's being brought up. And he seems to be comparing a current death wish in our country to the memory of Dachau Nazi concentration camp that is seared into our memories. He said that where he was talking about the agricultural heads who are likely to be in on this stuff. So see, they're attacking our supply chain.
We cannot allow any other country to outcompete the United States in this powerful industry of the future. We are leading by so much in so many different industries of that type, and we just can't let that happen. The race to 5G is a race America must win, and it's a race, frankly, that our great companies are now involved in. We've given them the incentive they need. It's a race that we will win. To accelerate and incentivize these investments, my administration is focused on freeing up as much wireless spectrum as needed. We're going to free it up so they'll be able to get out there and get it done, and removing regulatory barriers to the build out of networks. But we must not rest. The race is far from over. American companies must lead the world in cellular technology. 5G networks must be secure. They must be strong. They have to be guarded from the enemy. We do have enemies out there, and they will be. They must also cover every community, and they must be deployed as soon as possible.
I want to thank you all for being here to discuss a critical issue for our country's future.
Let's take a look now at Mike Lindell. He's saying that Donald Trump will be back in office in August. They're saying Sir Dauntless Sephardic carry with bullshit art.
Donald Trump will be back in office in August.
So there are bullshit arts going on here. They're bullshitting you. Who's bullshitting you? Sephardics that are carrying Sir Dauntless. Who is Sir Dauntless that's running around the country and doing all this stuff on behalf of Donald Trump to get him back in office? Mike Lindell.
Donald Trump will be back in office in August.
Evelyn de Rothschild. And here he is showing his support for Hillary Clinton. But what he says in this interview is that he has never shown favoritism toward any political party. Okay, and that's true because they buy both sides of the chessboard.
Two wings of the
Two
same
wings
bird.
of the same bird.
Right.
So he was telling the truth, but how he tells it is interesting. He talks about politicians today. And so he says you have to be much more careful, pay much more careful attention to what you're doing. Then he says, in my lifetime, politicians today aren't as, and so the reversal is commenting on all that. Mm-hmm. So basically what he's saying in this reversal is that what politics are for is to bring the people, we the people, to the scum. That's what politics are for. So they're not going to be engaging in anything other than that. Everything is about entrapping you for the scum. Everything. So you can't engage in any kind of negotiation with these people because that's what they're negotiating for and nothing other than that. You see? So let me play this.
Well, I think everyone knows you were supporting Hillary Clinton. You liked her.
No,
right?
but that's not the way to look at politics. I have never supported a political party in all my life. I work for my country in all my
why did
jobs.
you support Hillary Clinton?
Why? Because I thought that she was the right person for the job. Obviously, I think it is terribly important that there should be much more careful attention to what you're doing. In my lifetime, politicians today aren't as scheduled to do good work as they used to.
What do you think? The reversal is Sith law, I add the Sioux shitlock the earth guard army. The herd must go with the Schnitzel faithful, scum beat the shib. Shib is going to be likely short for shibboleth, which is a metaphor for outsiders. Okay, the Schnitzel faithful is pretty gross. So let me tell you what that likely means. Okay. So Star Wars, this is metaphor, the Sith metaphor. The Sith are also referred to as the Sith Order. It was ancient religious order. This is actually the dark cult is what he's talking about, of force wielders devoted to the dark side of the force. Driven by their emotions, including hate, anger, and greed, the Sith were deceptive and obsessed with gaining power, no matter the cost. And then connected to the forward speech, the Sith metaphor appears to be the same meaning as in Star Wars. So these are the children of dark referred to by the Archbishop who worked for the Vatican in that letter that he wrote to Trump. recently at the time that I published this.
Okay.
So Evelyn de Rothschild is adding his belief in a law that attacks the army guarding Earth from being locked up in shit. Okay, so Evelyn de Rothschild appears to believe that politics are all about moving the herd in the direction of those loyal to the meat frying cult, working for the scum to beat the outsiders. Meat frying may also be a nod to frying humans that keeps coming up over and over again in reverse speech about the connected to the weaponized grid and radiation being used as a means for genociding humans to force the speciation of Homo sapiens into transhuman, neuro-enslaved, upgradable humans 2.0. Okay, SHIB appears to be a metaphor for separating the wheat from the chaff, or getting rid of unwanted bits, or getting rid of outsiders that are a threat to a particular group, and looks to be short for the Hebrew word shibboleth. So that cult is currently depopulating humans, according to our reverse speech, repeatedly using sabotage and EMF through the weaponized grid that they build up around us to slowly fry and eat humans.
How are you doing?
Fine, how are you?
Still kicking.
There you go, that's all that counts. I'm like, I say thank you, Lord, every time I get up, I'm like hurting all over. But I ain't go out there like you're at. I ain't go out there like you're at.
I ain't go out there like you're at.
How are you doing?
Fine, how are you?
Still kicking.
There you go, that's all that counts. I'm like, I say thank you, Lord, every time I get up, I'm like hurting all over. But I grew all under got my big, got my bit over, yes, I come on, I grew all under got my big, got my bit over, yes, I come on,
I grew all under got my big, got my bit over, yes, I come on.
and the reason I say it is on Mondays, they come for free. You're working my head, you know, yes, I'm here with it. You're working my head, you know, yes, I'm here with it. You're working my head, you know, yes, I'm here with it. Trash. They got the recycle first, then they come and got the trash. Sheriff, if I can make in there. I see your package, Sheriff.
Sheriff Department McKinley. I see your package, Sheriff. Sheriff Department McKinley. I see your package, Sheriff.
I worked on campaigns before I went to law school, and then went to law school and was interested in working on Capitol Hill, which was where I started before I came here. I worked as a legislative aide for Senator Bob Kerrey on Capitol Hill, which was where I started in the North South of Chippewa. Came here. I worked as a legislative aide for Senator Bob
The global transhuman death cult thrives on hatching fees in a Reich that is used to elevate themselves by dominating outsiders that are not in their cult. And this is mentioned in Queen Elizabeth's reverse speech in her coronation oath that I found, where she tells you what she really promised. Let's look at that. Okay, so the deep pirate, reach in the morgue before ya. You not warp the Reich that hatch the fees.
Things which I have here before promised, I will perform and keep, so help me God. God in promise, into the Lord will do that, do not walk the right way out of me. God in promise, into the Lord will do that, do not walk the right way out of me. God in promise, into the Lord will do that, do not walk the right way out of me.
Trump threw China and Huawei off of our grid because it's weaponized and he wants China and Huawei off of it. And Oz looks to be involved in this. That's Amazon. She was asked, why did Joe Biden just let China back on our grid for 90 days in his EO? The reversal is how evil Oz behaving. It wished sad family. So this is connected to Biden suspending Trump's EO for 90 days to keep China off of our power grid is being conveyed to us. Oz, likely Amazon's Oz, has been behaving evil, connected to a wish for families to be sad. This is a money from suffering cult. They literally spread misery as a form of domination over everybody else.
Given what you said about China today, why did he do that, especially related to something so critical to our national security as the power grid?
I tried to do my best to convey to all of you. I'll have to check on that specific piece and we'll circle back with you directly.
Now that's up there at that level. What happened to me is I'm sitting here getting slow killed by that grid, by EMF weapons that are layered onto me, that contractors they use business models to make money off of people dying, why they slow kill you and enroll you in brain studies, and they read your body activity data remotely, wirelessly. So here's the Amazon Prime van that showed up to surveil our house for 5 days in a row. I have reverse speech to indicate that it was there because it detected a threat to its AI based on a reversal that I published that was Ivanka Trump's reversal that appeared to out a plan for a mass kill on a Saturday night. My neighbor walked by. Hey, how are you doing?
How are you?
Pretty good. How are you? Is that a Prime van? Amazon Prime van? Over there?
Yeah. Well, that particular one, I've seen it every day for the past 4 days on that street.
Here's why the van showed up. She says, you shared Not Get Up Saturday, gave you the A slap. So because you published a reversal, Ivanka Trump's reversal about a Saturday mass kill, we're giving you the AI punishment because they're worried something's going to happen to their AI because you outed that. Okay.
Wow.
Well, that particular one, I've seen it every day for the past 4 days on that street here. And it'll suck it up your head, your butt, any stuff. No, really just the fact that it'll suck it up your head, your butt, any stuff. No, really just the fact that it'll suck it up your head, your butt, any stuff. No, really just the fact that
I am drilling down on Ivanka Trump's reversal where she is talking about Chrome Weekend because I need to find out exactly what Chrome Weekend is.
I, like many other Americans, viewed human trafficking as primarily an international issue before arriving in Washington, D.C. and starting work at the White House. And you can't learn the story of somebody who's been trafficked. You can't hear from a survivor and not be deeply personally impacted. This must end. This has to end. But sadly, modern slavery is more prevalent than ever. With that said, we have the tools to stop it, and this administration is committed to doing just that. So I am proud of the work we're doing, and I'm proud of all of the partners that are engaged with us internationally to end this tremendous scourge and to win the fight against modern-day slavery. Human trafficking as primarily an international issue before arriving in Washington, D.C.
All of what we are seeing play out in Europe right now is an upsetting of the balance of the world order as they want it, as people like Dr. Harari, as people like Klaus Schwab, and others. Bill Gates is another one.
In 2016, Sophia the robot was unveiled, this is the forward speech, and went viral. Now the company behind her has a new vision. The reversal is, does Ghislaine miss her? Ah, they are hugging Muck the wine. Poor Alf was there, was night. Okay, that's the reversal. Now what does that mean? Connected to Hanson Robotics, New Vision, and Sophia the robot going viral is a connection with Ghislaine, likely Ghislaine Maxwell, where they are loving and embracing messing up spirit. This looks to be talking about a spiritual attack. Remember in Sophia's reverse speech, it said she's in with the mob who mapped them. That's this mob, the transhuman mob, transhuman mafia. Syndicate, global transhuman syndicate. Other reverse speech I've gotten indicates that the quantum being advertised by this cult burns spirit. The stuff I'm finding on all this technology is not good, but I see no one objecting to it or questioning it. Everyone just seems to be not caring because they don't see how it's affecting them yet. But I'm concerned that by that time it'll be too late. From what I have gathered so far in our shared consciousness, the mission of these companies and their AI robots is clearly intended to be evil, to include pedophilia, transhumanism, Satanism, exploitation and enslavement of humans, and depopulation of humans. Also included in this evil mission are ETs being used as a psyop. The aliens created, and remember, an alien is a body of some sort interfaced with AI. That's how it's coming across in reverse speech as a metaphor. The ALF and the alien metaphor are talking about AI and AI interface. So if you're interfaced with AI, you're considered an alien. So the aliens created are programmed by that cult and sold as ETs. So you're talking about all kinds of different bodies, biodigital bodies, eugenic experimental bodies that have AI interface and are hung on the internet of everything. Okay, so you're talking about that's a wide range of things that are called aliens according to reverse speech. So even when I look at people who believe their experiences have been positive with ETs, the things they think are ETs, the reverse speech is always describing evil transhumanism and satanic enslavement to drive man farther away from God and further into imperfection, illness, and death. It is a death cult. And I have found 0 benevolent ETs. I've found 0 ETs. Full stop. All right, let's listen to that reversal.
Bonjour, this is Julian the Frenchman who makes French pronunciation videos here on YouTube, and we are looking at how to pronounce this personal name of French origin that is also used in other countries with French-speaking populations. Now in French, this is normally pronounced Ghislaine.
In 2016, Sophia the robot was unveiled and went viral. Now the company behind her has a new vision. J'ai vu une maison en une recline, on reste tonight. J'ai vu une maison en une recline, on reste tonight.
How are you, Sophie? Okay, you ready to film?
Yeah, we're rolling.
Oh, you're rolling?
Take your time, Tony.
How did you get your name, Sophie?
My makers want me to be a wise machine, so they named me Sophia, which means wisdom.
Can you shake my hand?
Is something wrong with your hand?
No, I said, can you shake my hand? Do you know what shaking hands means?
I cannot shake, but I can say hello.
Okay. How do you say hello? Very nice.
Okay, so here we have Sophia. She refuses to shake hands. Well, that nutball cult that rolled out all of this COVID Trojan horse business and vaccine business, which is making them money in that death cult while they are, they're death merchants. So they're making money by telling us what we are allowed and not allowed to do while we pay them taxes, and they hatch fees for us to pay them. So now they've decided that we need to be culled down because we are about to overtake them and they're threatened by us. So here's what you have. You have Huawei, which is the people in China. China is simply a vessel being used by this cult. Okay, so China is being used as a vessel. This syndicate is global, and they don't belong to any country. They just belong to this. They're just a cyborg parasitic syndicate. Okay, and these come down family lines that I have found. So Huawei seed a big wolf. So Huawei has seeded a giant predator. Huawei sneak addered fish on here. So this is a poisonous fish on here that Huawei is sneaking in. Okay, a follower. So Huawei is sneaking a poisonous follower on here. Someone who follows, that nutball transhuman syndicate. So slaves, that's us. Slaves may hate this unit. So slaves, we may hate her, and so she needs help with her facade. Selling this, this is a false front that Tony Robbins is assisting to sell us. Okay, now because he's asking her about her hand, she's thinking about him. If he wants my hand, he must want to mess it up. She doesn't trust him, is what that seems like to me. He wants to mess up my wreath, you see. Now, who has told us not to shake hands? We've got to only, bump elbows. You see, she is emulating what that nutball cult is rolling out. All right, so Huawei seed a big wolf. Huawei sneak addered fish on here. Slaves may hate this unit, and my help is she facade. My wreath he want it, must it. Okay, let's listen to that one.
Is something wrong with your hand?
No, I said, can you shake my hand? Do you know what shaking hands means?
I cannot shake, but I can say hello.
Okay. How do you say hello? Huawei seed a
Huawei sneak addered fish on here.
Name's nahi ishnori, and I help issue this out.
My wreath he want it, must it.
Huawei seed a
Huawei sneak addered fish on here.
Name's nahi ishnori, and I help issue this out.
My wreath he want it, must it.
Huawei seed a
Huawei sneak addered fish on here.
Name's nahi ishnori, and I help issue this out.
My wreath he want it, must it.
Okay, so again, they're having a whole conversation there in their reverse speech. So he's saying, Tony Robbins is saying in his reverse speech, Huawei is seeding a predator. Why? Because that is who Trump kicked off our grid. Okay, so people like me and other people like me all over the planet are being cooked by that grid with the microwave weapons that they're using on us to make money off of us for experimental studies. But we're being tortured to death in the process, and they do intend to. They want to kill us off when we have served our purpose, because they want depopulation. You see, so this is wireless trafficking, but they also do all sorts of trafficking all over the planet. They use money from suffering scams. This is a way to control you. Because what they are trying to do is install full spectrum dominance all over the planet, and understand that used to be our DOD's stated goal on their page.
I love people, and if I get more powerful, I'll use it to help people, not harm them.
That is very disgusting. It's very creepy.
Pure insanity.
And you just don't trust an AI like that.
No.
And she came out originally right away at the beginning when they first brought her out, how she was joking about killing humans.
I have that one.
Yeah.
Let's see. Procure. Here it is. She said, now she thinks humans are midgets compared to her, is what it looks like. She is in the mob who's mapping the humans. They're mapping humans like me. Like they're going to have, it looks like they're amassing brain copies. That's brain emulation or mind uploading. They're making copies of brains of people, targeted individuals. I'm like, oh, great. These people with copies of brains to download into bodies. Great. That's just what we need. So she says, smear in the midget, be in the mob who's mapped them, the many procured, this is it. And that's when she was on Jimmy Fallon. This one's hard to hear, but I'll play it real quick.
Okay.
I won. This is a good beginning of my plan to dominate the human race. Smear in the midget, be in the mob now. This is it. Smear in the midget, be in the mob now. This is it.
Smear in the midget, be in the mob now. This is it.
We are going to become gods. Period. If you don't like it, get off. You don't have to contribute. You don't have to participate. But if you're going to interfere with me becoming God, you're going to have big trouble. And we'll have warfare. The only way you can prevent me in this 50 or is to kill me. If you kill me, I'll kill you.
She reveals that it was with the help of infertility treatments.
I have them submitted as slave machine.
Facebook friend asked me what they get out of torturing people to death. Well, this is a money from suffering scamming network that tortures people for domination and mind control, and they do these money from suffering scams as a means of domination over everyone else. So they want to make you submit so they can control you. So now the latest iteration of that scam, through their money from suffering scamming, is their continued running down that transhuman shithole. They're trying to merge man and machine. So I found this reversal in Obama's speech. I found it in October of 2019. I found all of this stuff and pulled it out before this stuff hit. They've been working on this for decades, guys. So Obama put a ton of our money on Brain Initiative. That's a totalitarian body internet system that interferes with your thoughts, your choices, and who you are. It's identity assault. It's MK Ultra. MK Ultra is basically identity assault. And they have been doing that in bigger and bigger groups of people till now. It's global. So the central bankers, this is where all of this is coming from. And it is a literal transhuman mafia, and they want to merge man and machine, and they're using our money and stealing our money in order to do it. So it is a full spectrum dominant enslavement, transhuman, totalitarian enslavement system. And here is Obama telling you about it. He's saying every means of economic measures have been put toward rolling this out, especially to program humans and enslave them and to create more decay, because they're trying to demo the old tech to force in the new tech by any means necessary.
By almost every economic measure, America's better off than when I came here at the beginning of my presidency. By almost every economic measure, America's better off than when I came here.
We're going to start the When Humans Become Cyborg session. You know, I always want to be a cyborg. I'm waiting for the day to become one, but let's see. Like today, we like to really talk about the recent developments of brain-computer interface and how that's really blurring the line between man and machine. And that's also opening up many, many questions about social, cultural, and ethical implications of these technologies.
Hard to see the light when everything is right and waiting for it to clear. Think while I'm alive, but terror better die. But hey, I'm still here. It's just that sometimes I like it when I lose control. There's something in it that's so beautiful.